Obama administration critics have accused the Fed and Treasury of printing money to keep the economy afloat. Our Eamon Javers reports that is easier said than done. Eamon?
Good morning, Becky. Well, CNBC has learned that the Federal Reserve is having major problems with the rollout of its new $100 bills. An official familiar with the matter says that the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing have identified flaws in many of the new notes that have been printed so far. As a result, the government has printed 1.1 billion of the new bills, representing $110 billion in value that it can't use. Some of the 1 billion bills which rolled off the presses earlier this year have a small crease in the new high-tech security paper that causes a blank spot on the bill face. But officials do not know how many of the bills have that flaw, and they're trying to develop a mechanized system to sort the enormous stacks of currency. At a cost of about 12 cents a bill, these are the most expensive notes ever made, and officials say they've spent about $120 million producing this batch of bills. For now, the bills are sitting in huge vaults at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in Fort Worth, Texas, and in Washington, D.C., and officials are struggling to figure out what went wrong with the printing process, but ultimately they hope the majority of the 1 billion bills that have been printed will end up being usable. With a value of $110 billion, the unusable bills represent a significant percentage of the total $930 billion worth of currency in circulation, and even if they get these sorting machines up and running at full speed, it could take a full year to separate the good bills from the bad. Back to you.
Eamon, I'm sorry, what happened really quickly? If I have one of these bills in circulation?
None of these bills have gone into circulation yet. They're all sitting in these warehouses, in these vaults rather, in Fort Worth and in Washington. And what happened is the paper actually folds up onto itself in the printing process, and it ends up with a gap and a crease. And if you pull the bill, you can actually see there's a blank spot in the middle of the bill where no ink has been printed. So that's a problem. They don't know how many of these bills actually have the problem, though. At one point when they were running the presses, I'm told it was up to 30% of the bills that had the problem. And so now what they've got is 1.1 billion $100 bills sitting there in huge piles, and they've got to somehow go through them and figure out which ones have the flaw and which ones don't.
It's like a jam in the copier.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like that. I guess you don't want any of your currency with a little line down it, but you'd know it was real. It wouldn't be like it was counterfeit. It would still be legal tender. I don't know why it makes it. It's weird to think that it costs money to make money. So it's $120 million to make the stupid money, and now we got to maybe throw it away. It's weird. How long does it last? We got to go. How long does a bill last, you think?
You know, that's a good question. They tell me they wear out pretty quickly, and so what they've done is they've actually ramped up production of the old bills to fill up the gap while they wait for these new bills to get off the presses.
Eamon, thank you.